Welcome into a special edition of Social Frequency. We got two special guests with us to talk about an upcoming game. We got Chico and Prince with us. How y'all fellas doing?
Very
So
well. Very well.
thank you for having us on your show. I don't want to
And
speak. My bad. Good.
That's all good. And, I had to bring my guy to go combat with me this week. My guy Ant. How you feeling this week?
It's a regular week for us, but for some others, it's a very big week.
It's a regular week.
It's a regular.
It's already
week,
started, huh? At a regular week for us.
I'm not. All I said was that it's a regular week. I wake up, I go to work. I don't know what you're. What are you insinuating? What are you?
Listen.
Listen.
When you're at the top looking down, every week's a regular week for you. You know.
Okay.
For us, it's always.
You seem a bit touched. All I said was that it was a regular week for me. All of a sudden, it got out of control early. All I said was that it was a regular week. That's all I said. Now, all of a sudden, we jumping out of pocket. That's all. That's all right.
You're right. It is a regular week. It's a regular week over here.
I just, see, we've already seen what's going on.
Well, you're right. It is just a regular week right now, but soon we are getting right into Sunday. Sunday night football. We'll have the Cowboys playing the Eagles. And we got two Eagles fans with us this week for this special episode. And of course, I got my man Ant with me, two Cowboys fans. So we gonna get right into it, man. How y'all Eagles fans doing? I know y'all one game ahead right now, but it's gonna come down to the wire. In Dallas, Jalen Hurts, he hasn't found a win. He's 0-2 out in Dallas right now. And we 6-0. So I want to hear how y'all feeling coming in Dallas.
I mean, I think we feel as good as we ever been, being the Super Bowl champion Eagles coming into a lesser.
I thought Kansas City won.
Yeah, I mean,
sorry.
We just look at things that winning people in the last 20 years, playoff appearances, stuff like that.
Here it is.
Sorry.
My bad. Go ahead. My fault.
Sorry.
Opening statements. I'm sorry.
Raise your hand if you've been winning for 5 years. Sorry, but no, I think like I said, I think it's a battle. You know what I'm saying? Divisional matchup, always a tough matchup. I think that we have two great teams that are competing for that one seed and that top dog in the division. But obviously it's going to be a dub. I mean, to me, I just think it's a nice way to get a statement bounce back win after a little rocky performance last week against the 49ers. Dak is playing at a high level, which is good for him finally for once. And I think that we'll find a way to get it done like we always do. The winners do. They win. So that's what we plan on doing.
Yeah, no, I agree with Mecca. I think we're gonna find a way to get it done. Last week was kind of shaky. Jalen Hurts got one touchdown, threw for 298 yards. Yet he couldn't get the job done. I do believe we have a couple of injuries on our team as well. I know Gardert is trying to come back. Dallas is trying to come back. I do know that AJ Brown, I really do feel like he's getting more targets throughout the season, but he's also a target for a lot of DBs. So that's why you see Devontae Smith stepping up to the plate. I really enjoy seeing Devontae Smith step up to the plate, especially that Thursday night game where he got a 99 yards, even though he stopped 1 yard from the end zone. That was kind of weird, but we're not going to talk about that. So going on to this game with the Cowboys, I really do believe it's going to be an interesting game because we're still trying to heal up. We had back-to-back competitive games. We played the Chiefs and then we played the 49ers. Those are big top games, and they're on the top of their division as well. So seeing this fight, Prescott has actually been playing pretty well, throwing up 300 yards on the Thursday night. It's crazy to me, but hey, he's doing this thing. I can't knock him for that. But Eagles fly. You can't deny the spirit, the tush and push. We have the momentum right now. Correct me if I'm wrong. If we do lose this game, we don't get top seed anymore, correct?
I believe
if we lose this game, the Niners get the top seed in the NFC. I think we're number 2. We'd have to basically win out in order to keep it.
Right. I do believe if it was on the spread, the cover would be either 2.5 or 1. It's going to be a really close game. Especially, I think our weakness on the Eagles is our DBs. I like Blankenship. He's a good tackler, but he gets beat. He gets beat a lot. Maddox, he's out for the season, I believe. So we have a weak side corner that's not as good as Maddox. That's his name, right? I don't want to put out the wrong person. Yeah,
Maddox.
Yeah. So I don't want to put out the wrong people out there, but yeah, he's I think he's out for the season, and he was one of our better corners, especially last year. And Bradbury, I like him. So he gets beat too, but safety's hard. Like at the end of the day, like, we all play football. We all see how safeties get beat. Like you have to be extremely fast. You have really good hips next to the corner. Obviously, corner is the hardest position on the field. But safety, if you get beat, it's because you're literally covering 1/4 of the field. That's pretty hard, right? So that's no excuse. We still got the job done before. We'll get the job done again. I really do think that coming in, the Cowboys have a good momentum, especially after that Thursday night game, and we have a loss. But this could be our revenge game as well. Like Jeff said, we're 0-2 against the Cowboys at home, so you never know. Going against, you never know. You never know. I really do feel like we're coming in with vengeance, and I like that. But we're not trying to win now.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep it a bit with you. I think the Cowboys suck. All right, so
that didn't take long at all. That didn't take long at all.
I was surprised that didn't come out.
Enough of this. You know what I'm saying? Politically correct. Yada yada yada. Dak this. Y'all suck. All right, let's just keep it a bean. All right, let's keep it a bean.
Wow,
I don't have the strength of the skill that we do. I don't have the skill position. Yeah, you got Bland, whatever his name is. 2, 4, 6.
Whatever his name is, but you knew his last name. I mean, you know his name. Just be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself, all right? Just be honest. There's nothing wrong with a little honesty and transparency, all right?
He had that historical moment with the Cowboys, so of course he's gonna know his last name.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Look, pick this, pick that. If I'm not mistaken,
he got roasted though.
He'll still get cooked for 150. All right.
No, 1,000%. He was getting eaten alive by DK Metcalf the other night. The Cowboys with that press conference. Right? He did get a pick. He got a pick when it mattered. We needed a big pick. We needed a stop. The Cowboys were able to get 3 4th down stops as well that game to seal the deal. Granted, that interception didn't turn into any points, but it's one of those momentum stoppers. So
yeah,
DeRon Bland did what he needed to do.
Do you think that with him moving to, moving outside from that nickel position, that kind of like the outside to replace Diggs, does it really have, if Diggs was still here, does it have the same effect with him being in the game?
Diggs get beat too.
Diggs
get beat all the time.
So the year prior when early in the season when Diggs was playing, he actually wasn't getting beat. He was very well in coverage. It just so happened that he got injured in practice, unfortunately. But I do think with DeRon Bland playing on the outside, he does have more opportunities to get interceptions. Now, that's not to say that he wouldn't get, he still wouldn't get interceptions, because at the end of the day, he was getting interceptions last season, had 4 or 5 interceptions the season prior. So it's not that he doesn't know how to play the ball. I think the Cowboys have 2 cornerbacks that know exactly how to play the ball, as they played wide receiver in their formative years.
Yeah,
I think that DeRon Bland, the same thing with Trayvon Diggs. There was a bit of a learning curve, and he had to figure out what happened against DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf is a bigger, stronger receiver. That's one of those guys like, hey man, we're gonna go play football. And Seattle was in need for a win, and we took it from him, but it wasn't a situation where DeRon Bland wasn't exposed. So now we have AJ Brown coming to town. I'm not going to say that AJ Brown is a bad wide receiver. AJ Brown is one of the best receivers in the NFL. Top 3, top 5. Wherever you want to put him is where you want to put him. You could argue he's the best receiver.
Was he on the outside? Was he on the opposite side of Diggs last year on the outside, or was he playing nickel?
DeRon Bland? No, he was a nickel corner. So it was who was it? It was Trayvon Diggs. Who was getting eat up on the other side?
Sidebar.
We had a mixture of different cornerbacks on the outside, and then DeRon Bland. We kind of tested the waters to see what was going on. But then we picked up Stephon Gilmore because we were having so many issues on the outside. So it was supposed to be Stephon Gilmore, Trayvon Diggs on the outside with DeRon Bland on the inside. So now he's getting those outside reps. So next season when Trayvon comes back, we should have a solid trio of cornerbacks, or Defensive
Sidebar.
backs. As long as
Sorry.
J-Ron Curse and Wilcox, sorry, not Wilcox, Wilson can figure out what's going on, because that's going to be that's my big grief with Dallas Cowboys right now, our safeties, and taking the top off of teams, which is what the Philadelphia Eagles tend to do when you guys need a first down. I don't understand why no teams, we've seen enough film on it, the go route is coming. The go route or the deep flag or the deep post, it's coming. They cannot get it. The Eagles cannot get a first down, or if they can't score within the next couple of drives, it's coming, and they're going to throw the ball. It doesn't matter, because Jalen going to step back. He's going to see it. He's going to chill out for a little bit. He's going to launch it. I don't know why teams don't see it, because it always comes after first couple of drives. If you guys can't, if there's a significant time where you guys cannot score, or you just kicking field goals, that deep ball is coming. So I don't know why teams aren't seeing it or what's going on, but that's just me.
Sidebar real quick. I wanted you to finish what you were saying. I felt like I kept interjecting. But
No,
what you were saying about AJ Brown being the best, one of the best receivers, top 3, top 5. I honestly would put Tyreek Hill up there. Probably like the only reason why it's like toe to toe is because AJ Brown already had 1,000 yards within like 6 games, 6-7 games. And then you have Tyreek Hill obviously just dominating with speed, track speed. He's on the track speed team. But let me get my nuts out of his mouth. I would pause. Edit that out. I'm not trying to like just overzealously say Tyreek Hill is that much better. I just know.
Where's Cameron and Mace when you need him?
Huh?
Right.
I said, where's Cameron and Mace?
It sounded like I was doing too much for a second. I had to stop that. Anyways, edit that out, Jeff. Anyways, yeah, but they're toe to toe. And to go back to your go route, which you mentioned before, Ant, the Commanders tried to stop it when we played them the first time. I will say that corner was a rookie, so that's why he got roasted. But the safety was there to help. And the only person who got shamed was the corner when he was sitting down, because the safety walked out of the camera frame. But if you go back and look at that play, that safety was coming over to help, but he was too slow because A.J. Brown just ran a simple go route, and he's just going to keep up with him. Like, A.J. Brown is next to DJ Metcalf as, like, freak athletes. Like, that's just not underestimate that, because, like, DJ Metcalf probably runs like a 10.5, 10.7 in a 100-meter dash at like 230.
Oh, no.
That is scary.
I think he's even faster than that. I think he runs like a 10 flat.
It's scary.
Something crazy. My thing is that, like, the reason why I was asking about that Bland question is because I was having a conversation with somebody where they were saying that, do you think Diggs going out makes that huge of a difference to where the Cowboys will be the top seed in the league? And I said no. I think the way you guys play defense, you guys have always had a good defense recently in the past years. I think the way you guys play defense is you take chances, right? It's give and take, right? I think Diggs is a great corner, but there's differences between lockdown. Like, when I look at corners in the league, right? I look at every corner has a different avatar, what they're good at, right? You have the all-purpose, all-around corner like Jalen Ramsey that's good at everything. I think Jalen Ramsey is the best corner in the league. Doesn't matter if his stats show it this year, whatever. I think of pure ability of what you're able to do at the corner position, whether it's man-to-man, whether it's zone coverage, whether it's tackling, whether it's playing the run, playing the pass. I think Jalen Ramsey is the most complete corner we have in the league. Then you have corners that are, your coverage corners, and you have your corners that are your big play corners. I think Diggs is one of those guys that's a big play guy. He'll undercut the route, he'll bite the route. He's disciplined, but his discipline comes into play when, like, the ball is in the air. He has a great ball skills in the air. He catches the ball like a wide receiver. But at the end of the day, man to man, he's not keeping up with Tyreek Hill. He's not going to keep up with AJ Brown. He's not going to keep up with a lot of these guys. But, like, he knows he's smart enough and has a high enough IQ that he knows where he needs to play to get that safety help. And so, whereas 2 years ago, where we were having a similar conversation about Trayvon Diggs being, defensive player of the year, as we are right now with Deron Bland, to me, it makes sense because Bland is not playing in that position. If Diggs was here, I think Diggs would still be doing what he's doing. I think Bland would just be compensating for helping him out when Diggs does those big play things. right? And so could you guys play very aggressive on the outside as far as corners go? And then it leaves your safeties to come in to kind of help and backfill when you have, when you're playing against aggressive offenses, people that may have multiple speeds through wide receivers and stuff like that. So I think even if Diggs was here, your defense, of course, would have more depth. Would you guys be a better squad or win more games or whatever the case may be? No, I think you'd be right where you are right now.
I think Trayvon Diggs took a step forward the year after he only had 11 interceptions. I think a lot of teams stopped
He had
throwing
11
at
that year?
him. Yeah,
God damn.
if I'm not
He's
mistaken.
good, don't get me wrong, but he jumps a lot. Like his first 2 years, he was
He
jumping
had
a
11.
lot of
He had 11.
routes.
No, 1,000%. But that's what I'm saying. In the third year, 2022, he stopped jumping at so many balls, and that's why they had to start going at the other guys, and that's why we had to pick up Stephon Gilmore this season, because then you saw the other side of the field was wide open with
Right.
guys like Kelvin Joseph coming in. We're trying to mix and match and put puzzle pieces in there because you can't throw at Trayvon Diggs because he is becoming a lot more disciplined. He's putting his hands on you, but also he's backing up. He's not jumping routes as much in 2022 because he only had 3 interceptions.
Right.
Now, granted, that also may go to the fact that quarterbacks aren't testing him, and then that also turns into Deron Bland getting interceptions in those nickel and slot spots because the quarterback has to throw the ball somewhere else. Why? Because Trayvon Diggs isn't necessarily just trying to undercut routes, and he isn't just jumping routes. He's playing actual defense. Now, am I going to say he was the best cornerback in coverage? No, but he took an exceptionally large step forward coming from what you guys are talking about when guys are blowing right by him, he's getting hit with double moves, or he's biting, and the quarterback's okay. Let me fit that right there in the little pocket that Trayvon Diggs was missing prior.
Right.
Now, Deron Bland, I think, is learning the same lesson this year, being forced to play on the outside, because if he had played that nickel position, I think, yes, to be fair, he's not going to get the same interceptions. Definitely not the same amount of interceptions. And he's not put in a situation where the learning curve is going to kick in, because the learning curve for Deron Bland came in quick being on the outside. And I think that DK Metcalf game was an eye-opener, especially after he set the record against Washington. So it's like, okay, now you understand what it's like to be in the pin with a big dog. So we have AJ Brown coming in. We switched over Stephon Gilmore over there, and then that's when Deron Bland gets the pick. Now the issue is whether we're going to be able to cover the top, because that's what's going to happen. We're going to run, or the Eagles are going to be running these ends with AJ Brown. We're going to be running those deeps. And so the defense has those nines with Devontae Smith. Dallas Goedert, if he does come, is going to be limited. So they're going to try to hit the Stoll kid. And there's going to be some running and dump offs to DeAndre Swift if DeAndre Swift plays, concussion protocol and all that. Now the offensive line.
Stop. That was disrespectful.
I'm not. That wasn't even a jab. I'm being very objective here. I'd like to say I'm being very objective here. I didn't say anything about the Eagles suck or anything. I mean, because on the podcast, I do give you guys your props. You guys are definitely one of the better teams in the NFL, if not second or third best, behind who my pick is. I said from the very beginning, the San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco put 42 up on both of us.
All right.
So
we
know what time that is.
These are facts.
However,
these are facts.
What I will say.
I'm just end with this. Hold on real quick. I'm only because I have to go. I got Eagles covering the spread. If the total is over 43. If the total's over under 43, I'm going with the over. Because even though Dak can throw 51. It, Hurts can throw it as well.
I believe it's at like 50 something right now.
Yeah, the over's at 51.
Yeah, see, that's why it's pretty high.
They're gonna cover it.
If it's over under 56, I'm going with the under. If it's over 52, I'm going with the over. I have to check the lines. I don't know the lines right now because they're constantly changing.
It's 51.
I think the Eagles are covering the spread regardless. And money line, die hard, man. You guys may win because we have a lot of injuries. Like it could happen. You guys are dominant.
Here comes the early excuses.
Yeah.
Hey.
Let that in there. Because of injuries, you guys will beat us. Like, all right, that's fair.
Facts.
It'll have nothing to do with either of the two guys behind me, but okay.
We shut down Parsons every time we play him.
I'm just saying it'll have
Johnson shuts him down every single time.
I think Micah just loves
Take that CD Lamb jersey down first and foremost. Take that down. That doesn't need to be on
You
display.
have to be honest. CeeDee Lamb is having an excellent season so far, and I think that it's going to present a problem for Darius Slay and Bradbury. They're both averaging over 10 yards a carry. I mean, 10 yards of reception when they're playing when they're covering somebody. CeeDee Lamb averages
We keep everything
13.1
under
yards
us.
per
You know
catch.
that. You watch the game, we keep everything under us. That's you know that. We basically play cover 4 like 3/4 of the game.
You can't
CD
play cover. You can't play cover 4 against somebody who's going to pick that apart.
Here's the
CD
thing.
Why do
Hey,
you
look.
think, why do people can throw so much against us? Have you not noticed that? We try to keep everything under us.
Yeah, CD Lamb already had 11 catches on y'all last game. 191 on you.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
we beat
All
our.
right.
But not
With an
right,
L also.
fair, 1000%. But to be fair, in that game, A, we beat ourselves. B, in the third quarter, when you guys put up 14 points to our 0, there was 5 penalties to 0 penalties called. And we're, I'm just saying because the conversation about penalties called in Philadelphia.
Team is undisciplined.
Hey,
No, we are no, and I agree. We are undisciplined. We are undisciplined.
Jeff, thank you for
But
having me.
there's penalty discrepancies that are being discussed
Appreciate you
going on in
stopping by.
Philadelphia. Oh, my bad. All right, Prince.
Hey, and I'll talk to y'all later. We're gonna have to do this again when I'm not like out in DC doing stuff. I do appreciate y'all letting me hop in on this call.
For sure.
Well, hopefully
for sure.
we'll see you guys again.
All right, bro.
For a third time.
Hopefully, may the best team win. Most likely gonna be Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. Peace.
Yeah, he's funny.
I'm gonna
I'm
ask him one day if he actually knows the theme song for you guys because
listen, that's not important. That's not important.
I'm gonna check some of you guys' cards.
No. We're a team. We're a fan base of people that have hearts. Doesn't not singing skills. Here's the thing.
I'm alive. I have a heart. What are we talking about?
I think CD going off as he has been is attributed to the team being on one accord. Offensive play calling, understanding. Like I think
That's what you're supposed to do.
I think now your coordinators and the head coach and everybody are understanding like, hey, he's not a wide out that's just gonna go deep and catch the ball. You have to scheme around him. You gotta keep him in the slot, get him with the slants, get him with the quick go routes here and there, the jet sweeps and everything. Move him all across the field to utilize him, just like they do with Cooper Kupp in the Rams. I think. Do I think he's going to go off for 191 again? Nah, I think we'll probably have to make some adjustments to do a little bit of a better job. But I attribute that more so to just how the defensive coordinator. I'm not a big fan of our defensive coordinator or offense coordinator right now. I'm not a big fan. I think, I got to cut them some slack because it is their first year, but you're in the first year coaching a Super Bowl caliber team, so there's going to be a lot of pressure for you to do and perform a certain way. But our defense doesn't have an identity right now, which I think we need to focus on in our last 5 games. Like there's no aggressiveness. We don't blitz at all. I mean, goodness gracious, like we just drop everybody back into coverage. And I think we blitz like maybe once or twice a game now, when last year it was all the time. And so
I mean, I was just gonna say, and it's no disrespect because we've had our secondary issues over the years, but and I understand that Darius Slay's nickname, Big Play Slay, or what you may have it, but when you look at these guys, you can see that there's something missing, and to your point, it is where you guys are not blitzing, so quarterbacks are not making mistakes. Quarterbacks have the time to look what's going on, and if Prince is correct in what he's saying, and you guys are just dropping back and playing cover 4 all game, an adequate quarterback is going to see that. I'm like, okay. And so when you're dealing with and you're saying again, you're dealing with a team that knows how to move and maneuver their wide receiver number 1 now. And
right.
Brandon Cooks is coming on, and the Cowboys are getting more involved. It was after that he made that statement where, okay, I'm still confident in what Mike McCarthy and Dak and what the Cowboys offense has in store for me. In the following game, he gets a touchdown, 100-yard game. So Brandon Cooks is getting more involved. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing now. Michael Gallup is still Michael Gallup. I think there's a confidence issue post his injury. I think he's still a little bit, tender on what it is that he's supposed to be doing. But I think if you get him involved as well, and Jake Ferguson, who we said off the air, Jake Ferguson is a favorite target. the Cowboys love their tight ends. And I
No,
think
I think Ferguson's coming along. I think Ferguson's coming along.
absolutely.
I've never been a fan of Gallup, to be honest with you. I've never been a fan of Gallup. I
He
thought
was always a big play guy.
big play
I don't want
guy.
to say he's like Devontae Smith, because Devontae Smith does do things like in between the numbers, and he makes plays in the middle of the field. Not to say that Michael Gallup doesn't, but Michael Gallup is one of those. All right, I'm gonna go up and get it. But if you take that away from him, then it's like, all right, well, we're in a situation now. I was like, all right, well, what have you done for me lately? Not to say that he hasn't made plays when we needed him, but
Right.
it's one of the situations you kind of gotta break through that and be the Michael Gallup that we had in when we had you initially. Like
Right.
we need a little bit more out of you.
That's what I think. I think it needs a little bit more out of him, honestly. And Cooks is nice. I think Cooks is, like you said, he's finding his way. Dak is not turning the ball over, so naturally everything looks a little bit better when your quarterback is making better decisions. But yeah, man, it's a close matchup, man. It's a close matchup here because we don't have the depth that we used to. We're fucking getting linebackers off of layaway now. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Shaq
ridiculous.
Leonard,
He
he's better than the kid. What's the linebacker, the middle linebacker y'all had against San Francisco who got lit up? Nah, Nicholas Morrow.
Morrow Ellis.
Morrow.
Here's the thing: Morrow and Ellis are good linebackers. They're just not what you need leading your defense, especially in a defense that doesn't know, that's not aggressive. Like last year, the biggest difference between us last year and this year was that, our run defense may not have been the greatest last year, but against the pass, we were top 5. You know what I'm saying? Top 3, honestly.
Because of the pressures, 1,000%.
The pressure was ridiculous, right? Now we have no pass rush. You know what I'm saying? Hassan Reddick and Josh Sweat are good edge rushers, but they're big play guys. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And like they needed the depth of the line to help them play their best. Right? Hassan Reddick, he may have 9 sacks on the season or whatever the case may be, but he can only put that much pressure on the quarterback for so long if other guys aren't really chipping in. And so, like, we're getting tired now. Like, we're getting tired because we don't have anybody else on the inside that's generating that pressure. Last year, we had a multitude of guys coming in and switching out and doing the same thing. So, I mean, I think it's just unfortunate because to go from such an aggressive team to now basically playing with 6 DBs and trying to, play coverage rather than press and all that stuff like that. And Slay's, like I said, he's a good corner. I think Bradbury's a good corner as well. He's a safe second option, but they both benefit from having pressure. Yeah, they both benefit. Bradbury's not a fast guy. He's going to get burned. If you match him up against a speedster, he's going to get burned 9 out of 10 times. That's not his game. He's a zone coverage type guy. He's a smarter guy. So, like, he's the guy that makes the plays when the quarterback messes up. Slay was a speedster when he first started in Detroit, when he needed him to be that guy. But he's an older guy. He's 33 years old now. He doesn't have the same burst that he does. So he plays smarter. He's also not a very he's not a big physical corner. So he's not going to come up and play the run like somebody like fucking Ramsey or Diggs or so whatever. So they benefit from your front 7 being much better. Now, I mean, we haven't had a consistent linebacker for like 3 straight weeks. Nakobe Dean has been on injury reserve. Zach Cunningham, I'm saying we got him in the beginning of the season. He's out. Christian Ellis is a good guy, but he's a special teamer, and he doesn't know how to play He doesn't know how to play the pass at all. Nicholas Morrow, he's like one of those surefire run stopper, tackler guys as well, but he doesn't know what he's doing in pass coverage. So now we have basically no linebackers in the middle, and we're just depending on rookie DBs to fill in the job for guys that were all pros last year. And I was actually pissed when we let go of TJ Edwards and when we let go of Marcus Epps and CJ Gardner-Johnson, because these were the aggressive guys last year.
Yeah.
You look at CJ Gardner-Johnson, he was leading league in picks, but he was that aggressive safety. Marcus Epps was that aggressive safety that we needed to kind of bolster the front seven. TJ Edwards tackles everything. Like, I'm pretty sure he leads the league in tackles right now on the Bears. You know what I'm saying? So, like, we don't have those generals on the team anymore. So, like, when people talk about, oh, we lack aggressiveness, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you see it. That's why you have things like Debo, taking a screen or a shallow route for 60 yards and a touchdown. And they're saying, oh, Brock Purdy's the best whatever in the league because of this shit. You know what I'm saying? So I say all that to say you're still going to catch the L this weekend. But, it's just going to be a little bit tougher than it typically is.
I can appreciate your objectivity because you are, and I've said this to multiple people, at least in our circle. You're one of the few Eagles fans that I actually can converse with on a intellectual level. It's like, all right, he actually knows what he's talking about. Because other guys just yelling at me and saying, I'm like, okay, well, do you even know what's going on right now? Like, do you know that Bradbury's given up 8 touchdowns and he only has 1 interception? Like, do you know that? Like, and Darius Slay's given up 3 touchdowns. He's given up 8 touchdowns this season, at least when he's in coverage, to at least near what they're categorizing as.
I need Pro Football Focus to validate that. Okay,
I'll send it to you. I literally have it right here. he's allowed 8 touchdowns. No, trust me.
I have it bookmarked.
I was looking it up when I knew I was talking. He's like, okay, well, no, let me come up with some actual numbers.
He bookmarked it just for this episode.
No, it's here. The stats are here, but I know because I also looked up Stephon Gilmore. He's given up 3 touchdowns. Deron Bland is giving up, 2 touchdowns. We know that the 2 were given up to, the big guy.
Right.
So, but no, I think this is. We also have a similar situation.
You see what Gilmore is now, right?
Not what he once was.
Exactly. Gilmore's like what, 30, 31, 32 maybe?
33.
Yeah.
33. Right?
And that's what my issue was, because Stephon Gilmore for the entire season was supposed to be the number 2 cornerback. And he's supposed to be teaching Deron Bland.
Right.
And Trayvon Diggs. Now, Trayvon Diggs getting hurt, that's a huge blow. Granted, I know you say the other Cowboys are still be doing what they're doing. But to me, because when I see Stephon Gilmore, he's not giving up the big play as we're talking about, right? Like you guys played the cover before. He's not giving up the big play. But he is giving up plays, giving teams first downs, giving teams more life. So it may not look like Stephon, but he has made some plays as well. Exactly. When I'm seeing Stephon Gilmore giving up first downs and giving teams new life on like 3rd and 5 or something like that, I'm like, hey, that's not what we brought you in here for. But again, he's 33 years old. And to your point about the middle linebacker.
And that's my point, because something like that's the difference between when you get to that stage in your career. Stephon Gilmore coming from being a defensive player of the year, shut down, lockdown corner, to now he's a good corner, but, he's going to get beat a little bit. And that's the same thing. We have 2 Gilmores on our team as our starting outside corners.
I mean, I don't know what to say to you, because I personally, I enjoy seeing it. I don't know what to tell you, but you guys still find ways to get it done. And that's one thing I've said about you guys. And I as a Cowboys fan, it's hard being objective, but I've grown up. We were 5-11, 3 straight years. I've seen bad Cowboys football, so I can be a little objective, even though I do very much dislike you guys. There's no love lost between us. Let me be very clear about that. There's absolute disdain for the Philadelphia Eagles. So, but Marquise Bell, for example, as a middle linebacker, is very frustrating to see, because we had Leighton Vander Esch doing what needed to be done, and we have to sub this guy in. We have another guy, Rashad Evans, who should be getting more playing time, because Marquise Bell, for what it's worth, was somewhat of a safety, and they converted him to a middle linebacker, but he's too small. So when you see guys pushing up in your guys' offensive line, without there's no false starts being called, nothing, but you guys are physical. And I think that's where the game, you can roll your eyes all you want. False starts, things going on.
Hey, look, what I will say, hey, look, what's his name on the right side of y'all's line, all the way on the right side? Who is that?
Lane Johnson.
Lane Johnson, right? Yeah. He has a lot of false starts that aren't called, and I know you see it. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself.
It's there.
He hasn't put his foot down. He has to put his foot down.
He has to put his foot down. You got to look at it's a kick step, right? So it's a kick step, and if you look at his,
it's close. It's close.
It's close.
No, trust me,
it's close.
Trust me, I tweeted about it, so I had to do the research. I was like, why are they not calling this?
Yeah, because it's close. I was watching that game.
It's not actually going down, right? So you can't actually call it as a step. So, he knows what he's doing. but that's the reason why he's the best right tackle in the game. That's how when you have that skill, it's skill because he knows the law, he knows the rules, right? That's why he can stand up against a Micah Parsons. That's why he can stand up against a Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa, and put him in the dirt. You know what I'm saying? And not give up.
They were fighting. They were fighting.
And not give up those sacks. That's how you have to play in order to get that leg up. But it's like, no pun intended. But when you get to a point where you're older and you don't have that same speed or whatever, you gotta understand how to finesse a little bit just to keep up with people. What do you guys think about what they said? Who was it that said something yesterday? I think it was David Carr. Now, given David Carr was never somebody that was a respectable man in the football world. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't much as a QB. He's even worse as an analyst. But what do you think about him saying that they should bench Jalen Hurts for Marcus Mariota?
Well, similar to what I sent you with the guy that said, "Oh, we like Jalen Hurts, but we love Brock Purdy." We hear the dog whistle there, but let's just dial it back a little bit. Let's be a little bit more realistic about what we're asking, what we're saying here. Because Marcus Mariota being
take that
subbed
guy
into
off
that.
air.
Take him off
Mariota, take him off the air.
Because he's a writer, beat writer for the Philadelphia Eagles himself, and he says, "Oh yeah, we like Jalen Hurts here, but we would love Brock." We're like, "What are you talking about? The guy took you to the Super Bowl. What are you talking about? He was an MVP candidate and is an MVP candidate.
Brock Purdy would be a god here. Why?
Yeah, like what are we? Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, David Carr,
he needs to be fired.
David Carr, and I get the frustration when you see that your quarterback can be playing at a higher standard. I mean, Dak last year with all the turnovers he had, and this year, Jalen Hurts turning the ball over, but he's also looks like he's hampering an injury. So it looks like he's a little beat up. And if you playing against San Francisco, everybody looks bad against San Francisco. When San Francisco's at full strength, no matter what you want to say, and I hate to say, but I try to be as objective as possible. You go up against a full strength San Francisco team, you're going to get beat up.
Honestly, though, if we're at full strength too, though, because given we had a lot of guys out against them as well. You know what I'm saying? Goddard makes a very big
He does.
Difference. Him not being on the field, having no linebackers, that's a very big difference.
Absolutely.
I don't know, man. I just, it's hard for me to really buy into the 49ers as the best team in the NFL. I know they're playing really good football.
In the regular season they are. It's that's just what we have to say.
They're very well coached. Yeah. So let's get into the numbers. What are we looking at as far as score? And then what are we looking at as far as statistics for our star players here? I say score-wise, I think we win 31-27. I think 31-27 as well. I'll say 33-27. 33-27. I think Devontae Smith probably goes for 100. I think AJ might go for like 80. And I think Dallas Goedert is probably used as more of like a decoy type thing. I am hoping this is a stretch, but I think hopefully Swift goes for 100. If Swift goes for 100, y'all definitely lose. Period. That's not even a question, because I think that's just gonna be this. I think that if Swift plays well, we give him the ball enough, and we don't just give him fucking 7 carries like he's been averaging for the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. If we give him the ball, he gets 100. I think we done. I think CD gets 100. I don't think he goes from 190 like he did before. I think he gets 100. I think Pollard doesn't really do much. I think Dak maybe throws one pick, but overall has a pretty decently good game. Yeah. And of course we get the W and just solidify ourselves as the best team in the league, as we already know. So,
well, you're not the best team in the league because San Francisco says hello. But I think that, and before I make my prediction, I think it's something that you know, worth noting that San Francisco in the second half found a little bit of success running over behind their left side of their offensive line. And our left side of our offensive line is Tyron Smith and Tyler Smith, who have been pretty dominant this season. Just to say what needs to be said. I don't know if Tony Pollard is going to do what needs to be done, but we also have a guy named Rico Dowdle who will also get involved. A very hard runner. It's very similar to the Marion Barber, Felix Jones years. I want to say it was Felix Jones. He was running with Marion Barber or Julius, one of the two. Anyway, we just have to pay attention to that. I think that's going to be a big matchup. That left side of the offensive line versus your guys' left defensive front. Now, with that being said, I think the game is going to be. It's going to come between the trenches and on the outside of the field where people are going to have to be throwing the ball. I think that Dak Prescott having the performance this season that he has been performing, the way he's performing, I think he's going to put up somewhere between 325, 350, a couple touchdowns. It's not far fetched.
350. Okay.
No, I said between 325, 350. I think that's what's going to be needed. Tony Pollard and Rico Dowdle will probably combine for $100, $120 maybe, $120. I think Jake Ferguson's going to get involved. I think he's going to get a TD. I think CeeDee Lamb's going to get a TD. I expect Michael Gallup. I think we're going to get Michael Gallup involved somehow in this game. I do think that the Cowboys win the game. It's very rare that I say that because I hate picking games. I almost never pick games. But I think the Cowboys know how important this game is, especially it being at home. I think Dak makes a very good case for MVP. I think we win 38, 31, 38, 35. One of those type games. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to get physical. I think there should be some fights. I think we should have some fights. And I think the Cowboys are finally going to find a way to get
Dom will take care of that. Don't worry. Well, Dom will take care of that. Head of security.
He wasn't even supposed to be on the sideline, which is crazy to me. He wasn't even supposed to be on the sideline.
That's what happened when you have mob ties.
Yeah, the NFL needs to investigate that because there's no way that the Philadelphia Eagles should have had 11. That the Buffalo Bills should have 11 penalties that the Philadelphia Eagles won. It was insane. The Philadelphia Eagles the Cowboys had 5 penalties. The Eagles 0, and all of a sudden the Eagles score 14 unanswered points in the third quarter. Hey, we have got to look into what's going on.
I don't make the rules. I just win the games. You know what I'm saying? That's basically
just open your eyes a little bit, man. Just be objective. That's all I'm asking. A little bit of objectivity.
Well, let's see. So predictions. Both these quarterbacks, man, they've been playing excellent all year. I'll say that. Jalen, man, for what it's worth, he's been playing great. I gotta give him his props where props are due. However, your running back situations, both of our running back situations, I don't think either one of these running backs are going to do too well on the ground this game. I think both will probably rush close to maybe 50 yards at best. I don't think anybody will get much running on the ground. I think this will have a lot to do with passing. I think both quarterbacks are going to pass for 300 plus in this game. Dak should probably get at least 2+ touchdowns. Jalen should get at least 2 touchdown passes as well. I think AJ should get at least anywhere from 60 to 70 plus yards. Smith, I think we do a better job of locking him down than we do AJ. So he may get anywhere from about 50 to maybe 60 at most.
Okay,
as far as yeah, but I gotta be honest. And I gotta give my honest opinions here. I think Lamb.
I respect AJ Brown, but it's still fucking.
Yeah, no, you're right. It is fucking, but for this purposes, I gotta be honest. I think Lamb, he'll go for another 100 something. He may not get 11 catches like he did last time. He may not even get the 16 targets like he did last time because that's a lot of targets and that's a lot of catches. But I do think he should get a close, if not I'm gonna say you know what, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say 80 plus. I'm gonna say 80 plus for Lamb. Ferguson, he almost got 100 last game. I don't think he's gonna reciprocate that. I think he got 91 last game on 7 catches. I'm gonna say he's gonna get about 40 plus maybe this game. because I think other receivers are going to get involved. Like Ant was saying, I think Gallup may get a little more involved, but I think Brandon Cooks, who's been coming alive a little bit more recent, will be able to get more involved, and that's why I think the numbers will dip a little bit for these receivers. As far as winning the game, I definitely am going with the Cowboys. A final score prediction is going to be hard. I think this game is going to be a shootout, and me being a betting man, every time I think a game's going to be a shootout, it's a goddamn under game. But anyways, I'm going to still predict an over score. I'm going to say a 42-38 Cowboys. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. I can see it. It's gonna be crazy. 42-38 Cowboys. It's gonna come down to the wire, I think, still either way. The Eagles might even have a chance to get a field goal at the end. Something like that. But I think we should come away with the win at home. We're 6-0 this year. And I don't see it any other way.
You guys are 6-0 at home?
Yeah, right now. We actually haven't lost a home game since week 1 of last year.
Who was that?
Brady. That was the Tom Brady. And then we sent him out the league later that year, so it's all good. It was reciprocated later. But
we'll see if it continues.
But all in all, man, I appreciate you for stopping by. I appreciate Prince for stopping by as well. It was great. We'll definitely have to try and get you back at some point before the season ends. Catch up and see how things are doing. Until then,
same way to playoffs.
Yeah, most likely we'll probably see you in the playoffs somewhere down the line for sure. But until then, we're gonna get out of here. Make sure to follow us at Views from the .50. Make sure to follow us on YouTube at Views from the 50 podcast and
sit back
Google and Spotify Views from the 50.